Your home is more connected than ever. So when one kid is schooling the competition,
Got it.
the other is getting schooled,
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
and you're streaming a webinar for work and the latest episode of your favorite show at the same time, shh, your Wi-Fi needs to be able to handle it. That's why Xfinity never stops working to bring you faster, more reliable Wi-Fi, so you can do it all at the same time. Xfinity, the future of awesome. Learn more at xfinity.com.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. As always, first and foremost, Deanna, unmute your mic. Get your happy birthday wishes. Yes, yes. Happy
Thank
birthday.
you.
Do you-
Happy birthday, D. Woo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Birthday girl, the birthday girl.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
What's that Stevie Wonder song about birthday?
Oh, Grace, you know that. We sing it all in the black church.
All the time. That's it.
Happy birthday
Birthday
to
to you. Happy birthday to
Yes.
you. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that's the only version we sing.
That's it.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Oh, and I also want to thank those who have emailed and texted me and WhatsApped me happy birthday this morning. So thank you all so much.
Good stuff. That's what I'm saying. Do you have a speech or just this, you want to first want to give honor to God, who is the head of
Head of my life. You can't leave that out.
or you pick up your Grammy or something like that?
I just want to say thank you. I made it. I didn't make it. I was grateful to see another year, and I'm grateful to see the next one. I really am, because the last year has been something weird. And I believe this next year is going to be something fabulous. So I'm just excited to have been able to see another year.
Another trip around the sun.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, that answer you just gave sounds like wisdom to me. She just said, I just want to say thank you. When you start talking like that, you're getting a little closer to death, is what one of my friends down here says. The closer you get to death, the wiser and calmer you become. That's the way she says it.
No, I still have, let me see. I still have 21,753 more days to go.
Yes, closer there was the way she uses it. It's just closer. It doesn't mean that she's going to die tomorrow. She just says, she doesn't say older. She just says that.
Oh, gotcha.
The closer you get to the expiration is the wiser you get. Life does seem to work that way. Good stuff.
It does, I've noticed.
But I'm glad you have your 21,000 something days.
21,753.
What age does that have you returning back to source? Is that 99, 90?
I think that's 98.
98. So you didn't want to see 100, huh?
No.
I can dig it. I'm going, Grace, this how I'm returning into my sleep. Be like the old folk. I'm going to go to sleep and wake up in heaven. That's what I'm having.
That's it. That's the best way to go. That's how they say. They say that's the best way to go. Go to sleep in Jesus. That's what they say.
Phil,
Go ahead, Phil.
my goal is to be on my stage and go and boom, hit the platform. And then in my contract, I'll have, if Phil happens to die on stage, you have to pay him half again as much fee. Because there's not a newspaper in the country or a news agency could resist the title humor consultant dies on stage, literally, and then they'll give your company that amount of exposure, and I should be paid for giving you that amount of exposure.
Wow, incredible. I like it a lot. That's a good way to go. That would definitely be in the San Francisco papers in New York. Go ahead, Deanna.
So I just wanted to announce that we have a new podcast order.
Oh, you mean, well, explain it. Put some details on that.
Okay. So
and also teach how you did it, because what you did is pretty clever and I didn't know it existed.
Okay. So one of the places that I've been speaking to everyone about is AdvertiseCast. And with everything going on, of course, people are pulling marketing from certain areas, to save on money. Well, what I did with AdvertiseCast is, with Antonio's permission, of course, is told them that we will still work with them, and we'll do like a 2-for-1. So if they order four, 4 ad spots, then they can get 8 ad spots for the price of, the one. So with that being said, the gentleman that we speak with over there, John has been emailing us, going back and forth. He's grateful for what we're doing. John is the one who actually emailed us and told us, hey, you need to increase your the cost of your ads. Well, we've been receiving
tons of them.
Yeah, we have been receiving a lot of requests for us to look at new information, new clients for ad spots. So what they do, how that process goes, is what they'll do is they'll send you the information first. Say, hey, this person is looking to purchase ad spots. Is this somebody that you'd be interested in? And you'll tell them, yes, we're definitely interested. So while they're gathering the podcast to present to the person who's purchasing the ads, it takes a little time in between. So we actually got the approval for one of them, and it came in this morning. And once it comes in, it breaks down to us, all of the dates. So we actually have an account all the way out until October 2nd. Yes. all the way out until October 2nd. So, and then we'll get, is this another one? Oh, okay. No, that's the same one. Okay. That was just the same one that we approved. I was like, okay, come on back to that. So what it does is it comes in order requested, order reserved, and then order approved. But one of the things that I did for us is I let them know, like, hey, we understand that there is a lot going on. We understand that your clients are actually pulling their money, pulling back because of what's going on. So we're here to let you know that we're going to help at any way possible. We will still run ads for you guys, and we will do it. Instead of doing one ad for $200 and some odd dollars, we'll do 2 for the price of 1 to help you to help you keep your clients, as well as us maintain clients as well. But more importantly, we want to help you. And in saying that, we have not missed a beat.
There's like 50 different lessons in there. 50. First off, build your own audience so you can leverage that audience for income. Every time podcast checks roll in, they're always right on time, because what check isn't? Right? What check isn't? And I typically I don't even use it. It goes other places, but that's not even the point. While everyone else is hurting, Deanna was proactive, said, hey, don't worry about that. I know you're losing customers. We'll be the customer, help you maintain the customers you got. And that will losing clients. They're losing their clients. Of course, these are Fortune 500 companies and, $1 million companies, anything like that. So fantastic there. Notice that she established a strong relationship with the head sales or marketing person there. That means in the same way we know him in our office is the same way they know us in their office. So here's what happens.
Important.
It is extremely important. So here's what happens all the time. As soon as they get well, let me say this in plain English. You can't forget they get a commission. You understand? The company gets a commission, and whoever closes that deal gets a commission. Therefore, they always pitch us because it's like guaranteed money. We come through. Our podcast is extremely attractive. And to right now, I'm somewhere in like 230 episodes or something. I'm not even sure what it is. Whatever it is. If I have time, about 5 episodes will go up today because I'm kind of said I was going to do that. But anywho, so just figure out a way to create multiple streams of income. That wasn't part of the meeting, but I'm very glad you brought it up, because all of you, ladies and gentlemen, I started my podcast with an iPhone 4 noise cancellation headphones in the Atwood 2 building at Houston Baptist University, and I looked for an empty class so I could record an episode. I'm going to say that one more time. An iPhone 4, which was no bigger than this. I forget. I don't even know what this iPhone is. It might be the 6 or something. I don't know. The iPhone 4 noise cancellation headphones. Atwood 2, it's a real building and on the Houston Baptist University campus. And I went search second floor for a class that didn't have a class at the time. And I knew I had, actually that was a Tuesday. So Tuesday, Thursday classes are typically an hour and a half. So I knew I had 90 minutes before a class came in. And that's what I did. You can start anywhere at any time. And then just get it done. Just get it done. Just get it done. All of you should have a podcast, period. It's just, why should all of you have a podcast? Forget what anyone else tells you. I'm going to tell you the simple economics of it. You need your own community so you can have your own economy, just like that. Now, there's other reasons. I'm sure if you write, why should I have a podcast on a blog? On a Google search, you're going to find hundreds of blogs. All those reasons would be correct. But at the end of the day, no community, no economy. Anything else you want to add there, birthday girl?
Build relationships.
Well, that is important.
Because he actually just emailed us to break down how he did it, because he explained to us how the client purchased and how he broke it down in the system because of how the system works. But he didn't have to do that. He could have just put it up there and did however he wanted to do with it. So build relationships, because it makes them come to you first before they go to anybody. They will think about you first. I believe that the reason we have received so many since this pandemic started is because of the relationship that we have with the gentleman in Advertise Cast.
Oh yeah, we're getting two or three requests a day to advertise on our podcast each week. In the last 7 weeks, we're getting 2 or 3.
It's been more since the pandemic started.
Yeah, you might be right. It might be 4 or 5, because I approved one yesterday.
Yeah, I approved one yesterday too.
So then there you go. So that's 2 in one day. Yeah. So there you go. There you go. Plus, we got another marketplace, that the Red Circles marketplace that's starting to pick up too. They just did that. This is I want you to repeat the last thing you said. I said, anything else you add? You said build relationships, because he didn't have to. Say that one more time, because I'm going to let Phil come in, because I promise you just quoted half of How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I know Phil read that book.
Build relationships. If we didn't have a relationship with this gentleman, we wouldn't be getting half of the opportunities that we're getting through them. People are pulling back. And because we built that relationship with him, and because we did what we did for him in his company, like I said, we're getting more ads from them during the pandemic than we did before the pandemic. When you build relationships with people, they'll think about you first before they think about anybody else. They'll be like, hey, let's send this over to ATS, or hey, let's send this over to Grace, or hey, let's send this over to Jerron first before we send. And if they turn it down, then we'll send it to somebody else. But let's send it here first.
Very good point. I didn't even think about that's what's happening to us. Until Deanna just said that, we are getting more requests in tragic times than we did in peaceful times. You are absolutely correct, but I'm glad you walked out. Phil, if you want to come, 2 things. Free talk from your own experience about the brilliance that's happening right here, in addition to some great lessons from How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'd love to get your feedback here.
Well, first of all, on the advertising, the smart businesses know that during these kind of times, when everybody else is pulling back, that's their opportunity to take market share from their competition. So that's why you're seeing the smart companies understand that, and they're upping their ads. They're not reducing their ads. Because during uncertain times, you weed out the weak players and the strong ones widen the gap. So that's what's going on in terms of that world. In terms of how to win friends and influence people, and I read it, but I read it a long time ago, so what's in it isn't top of mind, but just the grist of it is people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. So by focusing on the relationship, you're focusing on people getting to know you, then eventually they'll like you, and then finally they'll trust you, and then they'll feel good about giving you their money, their time, their expertise, their knowledge, because that's what it's all about. And I've said this many times, it's the relationship that's sacred. It's never the transaction. So like when I was training car salesmen, I told them to position themselves as transportation advisors. So when you need legal advice, you go to a lawyer. If you need accounting advice, you go to an accountant. It would be nice if you had somebody in that business that you trusted, that you could go to them, tell them what your transportation needs are. They could prescribe the right vehicle for you based on your needs, as opposed to how we currently go about getting cars. I learned this from a good friend of mine. His name was Ralph Marinacci, and I probably bought 80% of my cars from him. I would decide what kind of car I would want. I would call him up, and I'd always get a used car. Never trust a financial advisor that buys new cars. Because the first hit is the depreciation. So I would always get cars that have 5,000 to 10,000 miles on them, because you don't take that big depreciation hit at the beginning. So I would tell him what car I would want. He would find it. I would buy it. I would never negotiate price with him, because I said he'll get enough margin in there for himself. And then if anything was wrong, he'd fix it. So that's the kind of, he positioned himself as an advisor, not as a salesperson. And that's what you have to do. And to be an advisor, you have to know people. You have to ask them questions. You have to listen. You know, it's the old prescription without examination and diagnosis is malpractice.
And lawsuits are coming from that. That's for sure.
What if you walked into your doctor's office? He said, Antonio, I got a shot for you. Wait a minute. You didn't even ask me what was wrong. Back off here. Chill. So that's what you have to think of yourself as. And me making these calls I've been making recently, I have to say I've underestimated my relationships that I have with these people, because I can't tell you how many of them were just so happy they heard from me, and gosh, Phil, how's things going? And it's really gratifying that when you really have an opportunity to go back to your sphere of influence and reconnect with them and see how much they really appreciate you and care for you and appreciate the value you've given to them. So it's been a great experience.
You know, I'm really glad you said that, backing up like 3 sentences, the shot, hey, I got a shot for you. I did that. And let's see. One of these Les Brown's events, Les Brown had a line, people taking pictures with him. I had a line of people taking pictures with me. The line was almost even. I couldn't even walk without someone stopping me. And I get into one of my zones and I'm answering questions for hours. I'm just giving out value. And I ruined a relationship by giving out value. Let me tell you what I did, y'all. I knew what the guy was asking, and I knew what he was going to ask next. And in the middle of him asking, I gave him the medicine. Like, hey, boom, gave him the medicine. Didn't process that he just wanted to be heard. Did not process that. Everybody else, this is a lesson that I've taken with me. This is the first time I'm saying it out loud. Everybody else was asking for candy, medicine. And I'm doing it for so long, I didn't differentiate the difference between, hey, so good, thank you for letting me finish, and I gave him the medicine. Here's the crazy thing. He did exactly what I said. I watched him do what I said. He is absolutely crushing it with exactly what I said. And we still do not have a relationship.
Yeah. Well, that's why I've heard a lot in my life. It's better to be silent and thought ignorance than to speak and remove all doubts.
Yep.
Steam that blows the whistle doesn't make the engine run. You think you meant being heard. In the book, Organizational Health, he talks about 5 behavior principles that every team must embrace. The first one, the bottom of the pyramid, is building trust. And how do you build trust is by being vulnerable. The next one is mastery of conflict. And he says that's the toughest one to implement. How do we get people to feel good about conflicting in a positive way so that we make a consensus of our decision? Then achieving commitment. The most important thing about achieving commitment is to let people let people be heard. If they're heard, then they'll be more apt to want to commit. Next, embracing accountability. And he says that's where you create accountabilities, peer-to-peer accountabilities, not manager to subordinate accountability, but peer-to-peer is the best where you are accountable to your peers. And then focusing on results. And he says that's based on the leadership team thinking to themselves as a team, and then their individual teams that they lead, those are the subsets, as opposed to thinking that teams that they lead, that's who they should be accountable to, and then trying to force that into the leadership team. So it's really an interesting way to think about how to create teamwork so that everybody works together and gets it accomplished in a good way.
Yeah, no doubt. Grace, do me a favor. Right after this call is, because you get the email, right? You got access to info? Unmute your mic.
Yeah.
All right. I want you to, just in this order, the email is going to say meeting available. Then I want you to go in, and then there's a share option when you go into Zoom as the admin. That's how you normally go in, right?
Wait, one more time.
You normally use the master email and password to log in? All right.
For Zoom,
That's why you be host. All right. I want you to click the thingy, and I want you to send this episode to Phil and Susan. All right. But make sure it's download. There's an option. Make sure it's downloadable, and then take off the password access.
Okay.
With the new upgrades that Zoom has done, they automatically have a password access. Take that off. Then make it downloadable. Send it to them.
Okay.
All right. I'll
sure will.
Right as soon as it's available.
Okay, because I have an appointment at 9. So, but I will get it.
You don't do that. I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it. I don't want Deanna to do it. It's her birthday, and then I forgot about your appointment, so you don't do it. I'll do it. I'll take care of it.
Okay.
All right, no doubt. All right, I got it. So disregard. Do some push-ups or something. All right, good stuff. Now, this is not the meeting I had planned, but how you said in church, Grace, but God has other plans. And
that's it.
There it is. So that's fantastic. No, this is better than what I could have done. I want to share. Well, let me do Deanna, before I do what I'm getting ready to do, I said something to you about an email. You said it's already, I know what it's done. I want that fixed. Get with Grace. There's an email that y'all have written up. I want it better. What I'm talking about, Deanna? Tell them what I'm talking about. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
The podcast interview request email.
That's right. Grace, I'm going to put you in. Who you want to be in charge? You or Grace, Deanna? Sorry, who you want to do the execution? You or Grace?
Grace.
Are you sure? That was a long hesitation.
No, I'm not sure.
All right, so me and you will handle it. Don't worry about it. Me and you will handle it. We will inconvenience ourselves and we'll handle it, because I'd much rather go into the surety than the not sure. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you. Tomorrow, let's work on that email because we going shopping right after this. You don't have to do anything. But tomorrow, you got me?
Gotcha.
Let's boom, make it work. And I wouldn't even mind being head of that execution myself. Because I listen to podcasts more than both of you combined.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know intimate details about some podcasts that would love to have me on, or a guest like me, I should say, on.
Okay.
Cool.
Plus,
I got relationships with podcasters because I'm a podcaster. That kind of helps too.
Yes.
All right. Did we send off that email to Red Circle, the one I actually wrote it up? I sent it to you 2 days ago. I was talking in my zone. Phil was saying something, put me more in my zone. Then I said, you know what? I got an idea, Deanna. Remind me to email Red Circle about some social networking stuff type things.
Yes. Yes, it was sent off.
Okay, that did save you from some push-ups. That did save you. But to make me feel more comfortable with that excited, relieving yes, or you tell me which one I'm talking about, then I'll know if you sent it out for sure.
Hey, I may have a good idea.
All right, that's the one. And you sent that.
Yes, I'm looking at it in the sent folder at this very moment.
There you go.
It took me a second. I'm so sorry. There's so much that goes through here, boss man. It took me a second to catch it, but I caught it. Yes, it was sent off.
I'm glad you caught it. I'm glad you did it, because now you see that big old smile?
Yes.
Yeah, I ain't even bother you. I ain't not even bother you. Good. All right, how much work are you doing today?
None.
Outstanding. On to the last thing. I'm going to curve everything else I have. I just want you to remember a couple of things. By you, I mean second person plural. Y'all. I want y'all. You is actually you, but y'all. To remember the fight is for what, Grace?
Prosperity.
Nothing else. Receive this. And let me just say it this way. I say that, and I say that a lot, but y'all hear me. Carol, I promise you, while that sounds like it's common sense, it's not. It's not. I believe it was 2000 and maybe 14, I realized for the first time ever, the only fight in the world that I am obligated to fight is for prosperity. I don't want you all to sleep on this statement. I'm going to do something here in a second, and I just want to kill my agenda to do this one thing. But if you're missing this, then what I'm going to do is just completely irrelevant. You have no other fight. Let me emotionally disturb you so I can create the flash bulb memory. People, like, I just understand how your brain works. So when I want you to remember something, I know to tick you off or to rile your emotions so you can remember it. It's like, don't you remember your first car accident? All right. Flash bulb memory. So Grace, I was being too kind when I said prosperity is the only fight. I need to unkind that. Not mean, I just need to bring up emotionally charged things so you can feel me. I am a Black man. Here recently, one of the most tragic things that you could ever watch just happened to another Black man jogging. If I fight that battle, I'm not saying I can't fight it, I'm just saying, if I fight that battle and become consumed with that battle, and if I make $12 an hour, I will never make anything more. This is what I'm trying to get you to see. I am not telling you that that's not a battle that should be fought. It should. It should. But I must be very careful of what consumes my energy. Prosperity, or proving people wrong, or fighting for justice, right? You get to choose. In my case, Grace, I could fight that battle. I could totally fight that battle because I already got the prosperity. So I can then, and I should, there's a scripture in the Bible, the strong should bear the infirmities, I think that's King James Version, of the weak. You understand? So now that I'm quote unquote strong, whatever you want to make that mean, then I am supposed to create equality for gays, for women, for homeless children, right? For people of injustice.
For 68 3/4-year-olds.
For 68 3/4-year-olds. Right? I'm supposed to do that. That it is my reasonable service, is what Paul says. It is my universal obligation. But listen to me, y'all. If you are not there, don't do that. You must first make the world a better place by making yourself better. Go ahead, Carol. Oh, no, you muted yourself. There you go.
I just wanted to say thank you for that, because sometimes we fight battles and we're putting pressure and time and concern into things that are not bringing us anything.
That's what I'm talking about.
Really gives a good.
They don't.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm so glad. I'm super glad that I'm glad a woman got it, because I'm not a woman. I'm glad someone not of my ethnicity got it, because I was bringing up mine, right? And I'm also glad someone not in my generation got it. That means to me, I have communicated effectively, non-biasly or non-partisan, right? This thing. Go ahead, Michelle. Oh, okay. We get Michelle, then Chris.
I got it. And it was confirmation for me. That's why I had to kind of back up the last couple days to just do some processing, and then so that I can go back in full force like I need and want to.
Good. You do me no good too sick to help yourself.
Well, it wasn't about being sick. It was actually about losing a close family member.
Well, there you go. So first off, that's tragic. Sorry about that. Secondly, you do me no good losing a family member and being engulfed in that. The best thing you ever did was receive, this is terrible, receive, I'm having the worst time of my life. And what I'm going to do is, this is what she said, y'all, since I'm just rewording it. I am going to accept where I am and allow this moment to be. And I'm going to, and she did say these words, process what's the good in this and move out of it. That sound fair enough, Michelle?
Exactly on point.
The fight is for prosperity. Before I let Chris go, listen to me. I did not know this until 2014. There's a I don't want to sound like a guy with a tinfoil hat on. And I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist. But I must tell you, it is by design that those in power keep you distracted. It is there. You don't even have to believe me. There is a documentary by PBS, I believe, called Century of Self. It's a 4-part documentary. Each part is 1 hour long. They tell you how they created the new matrix from Edward Bernays, who is the nephew of Sigmund Freud. They tell you how they take German propaganda, bring it in to American culture, and they couldn't use the word propaganda, so he changed it to the phrase public relations. And his first experiment was to teach women to smoke cigarettes. It was taboo then. This is 1930-ish. This pay attention. And this happens in the first 15 minutes, first hour. And in his first 15 minutes, first hours, they did research. Why don't women smoke cigarettes? Because cigarettes was viewed as male masculinity. And this is, I promise you this is true, and I'm going to say it the way it says on the documentary. So how can we get women to smoke cigarettes? Well, you have to get women to want to challenge male masculinity for their own rights, whatever that may be. So the reason why women smoke cigarettes, this is not my words, it's because they convince women that a cigarette is your version, quote, open quotes, of having your own penis, close quotes.
Now more than ever, it's important for you and your family to enjoy the spaces you're in most often. Visit FergusonShowrooms.com to shop online or schedule a personalized consultation to meet with our experts at your local Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery. Together we'll help you make the most of home and create a space you'll love to live in. Get started on your project and discover extraordinary products like the Orizo chandelier from Progress Lighting.
Epicor is the essential partner to the world's most essential businesses, offering ERP solutions built for growth and operational success. Explore the industry productivity solutions we curate for the automotive, building supply, distribution, manufacturing, and retail industries by visiting epicor.com/essential. That's EPICOR.com/essential.
And they market it with the phrase, open quote, torches of freedom, close quotes. So if you smoke anything and you're a woman, which is nothing wrong with that, okay? Nothing wrong with that. I'm just I'm showing you that you're actually drinking the Kool-Aid of a man propaganda. What else has you and you don't know it?
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
So all these commercials where you see all these sexies, okay, that's all male. That's all male oriented for the female to go out there, and it's not a power. It's not a power for a female to be out there in that category. It was actually created by the males, and it just keeps people in a certain category. and it keeps people looking at you in a certain category. And because it becomes popular, the females buy into it. And that's part of the problem. And they're not getting their strength out there. They're not thinking the way they should to be empowered. So they think empowerment is being like the male, being like this. No, but there's female power that is so powerful, but if it's changed over into sexuality only, it diminishes you. And that's part of that commercial stuff and the sales.
It is. And as a matter of fact, you just talked about episode 2 and 3. You mix them together. Episode 2 talks about how the corporations had to figure out how to make Steve buy more, because human beings acted like animals. This is actually the whole premise of everything, that human beings have animalistic instincts. And if you tap into those, this is Sigmund Freud. I actually quote Sigmund Freud a lot. I just don't tell you I'm quoting Sigmund Freud. Every human being has animal instincts. And if you can get to those animalistic instincts, then you can tap into them and then make them do what you want to do. Don't be offended. I'm just telling you this man's research that up to this point has been proven facts, and it's being exploited on you right now. Episode 2, 1 hour, talks about how the corporations had to convince y'all to stop just buying what you need. This is why there's a toilet shortage, right? This is why there's nothing in the stores, because no one's buying what they need. We always buy more than what we need. A lion in, I won't say the jungle, but the lion's not in the jungle. A lion in the Sahara, whatever, right? Wherever lions do lion things, okay? Wherever lions do lion things, the lion does not kill every gazelle. It kills the one it's going to eat. The lions don't kill 20 gazelles, take them back, bury them underground as a refrigerator. Right? You know what I'm saying? There's very few, but there is something else that does. Anyway, we're not going to do that because that's actually propaganda itself. Takes what it needs. Corporations convinced us through taking that training through Edward Bernays. The corporations convinced us to buy more than what we need. This is why we buy a jogging suit and look like we're working out instead of actually working out. Yep. This is why Diet Coke can even exist. No, don't change your diet. By all means, don't relieve sugar from your diet. Get artificial sugar and give yourself the illusion that you're being healthy. Episode 3, there's a policeman in our head. Now, if any of you lived through the 70s, that was a major movement in the 70s. There's a policeman. It just simply means someone else is in our thoughts. Who's up there? We're going to be free. That's the whole 70s is free. That's what the hippies, this is the movement pushing that. Free. But if it wasn't for that, it wouldn't be seminars the way they are today, because that's where seminars really blew up in the 70s. That's where you get your Bob Proctors and all that stuff, right? That movement, how we go to seminars today, that happened from the 70s. That if it wasn't for that movement of there's a policeman in our head controlling our thoughts, we need to get that policeman out. This is what we do. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, that's when I was with Paul Harvey, Art Linkletter, Wayne Dyer, Norman Vincent Peale, Earl Nightingale, Zig Ziglar. Yeah, I was with all of them back then. I got pictures with every one of those guys. So you're exactly right.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm only right because I read this or I watch this stuff. Like, please don't think I just woke up and was like, oh, I know this information. No. I work hard to go get this information. Right? Work hard. These documentaries are boring. They're in black. One of the first was in black and white. They're in poor quality color because they're old clips, but they're valuable. And the fourth one is why I brought this conversation up. The fourth one started. Well, the fourth one was mastered in 80s politics. It was started then, mastered by the time Clinton got in. And y'all don't even know that that's the new matrix you're in. I can't stress this enough to you. Just go watch it. Century of Self, 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you just watch 4, you're going to be completely upset to learn that your politicians, with respect, are controlling what you do through the way the new matrix works. I won't tell you what it is, but it is just an hyper of women need their own penises, smoke cigarettes. It's just a hyper of that. Why do you think? Just process this information. Go down your timeline. You're going to hear people say liberals. You're going to hear people say conservatives. Yeah, what does that mean? You mean to tell me that if I take away the human, remove them, there's going to be a silhouette of a liberal there? Like, that's a real thing? What's a liberal? What is this? What's a conservative? Like, think about this. What's red? What's blue? Is it really? We've been so hoodwinked that we truly believe. Go ahead, Grace. I know you gotta go. We truly believe that because you vote a way, you're a bad person. But we're the same people that will open up. Oh, okay, no. Come on, Carol. Here you go. Go through the door first. Like, when I see you, I'm gonna be nice. But as soon as I'm not accounting for and seeing you, you're a stupid liberal. I know white people who hate black people, but like me. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just a black person they associate with. Think about that. Do they hate black people, or do they not know black people? And they're programmed a certain way. You be the judge. I got nothing to do with that. Flip side, I know black people hate white people. The whole time that I grew up, I didn't have a relationship with a white person until I joined the Army. It had nothing to do with racism or prejudice. Carol, you wouldn't in my neighborhood. Simple as that. I did not have, if I met white people, I was being arrested or they was the insurance man. And that's the truth. There's an insurance man selling insurance to my grandmother. Come through once the policy was getting ready to expire. So what, once a year or something. Oh, it was a cop. I didn't have access. It wasn't until I got into the Army to where it's melting pot of everybody. That's no different. If you white or Mexican and your family's white and your job is white and your church is white, I can't be mad at you for not having access. 90% of your routine is bumping into people who are like you. You're programmed. They did this. They have you distracted so you don't fight prosperity. And that's what we're talking about. It's by design. Don't take my word. Do me a favor. Let's go to YouTube. Century of Self. They got it all 4 hours. Just get each episode. Get each episode so they can see it. Don't take my word. She's finna put it in chat. Century of self. That ain't got nothing to do with me. This is a documentary that ain't got nothing to do with me. Not even shot, recorded, produced, financed by anyone who looks like me. It's all by design. So what's going to happen is they're going to convince y'all fight over police brutality. Should that be a fight? Yes, it should. It should be a fight. But if you broke, why you fighting for that? No. I got to get you to catch this. Am I telling you to look past injustice? Nope. I'm telling you that you can't put more energy into fighting injustice than fighting for prosperity. Why? Because when you fight injustice, you get more of injustice. But if you're prosperous, you can actually pay for laws to be changed or run and get the laws changed. But you can't do those things broke. You can't. You can't. Go ahead, Kara. I think you're trying to say something. Unmute your mic.
Yeah, I was just asking, can you please repeat that again and again?
Yes, definitely.
I'm really serious because we got to get it. Got to get it.
Yeah. If you have money, you can lobby. The laws are not written by legislators. They're lobbied. And legislators write what the money tells them to write. No offense to anybody. It's not what I'm trying to do. Lobbying is actually the problem, or one of the main problems. It's just Congress people, men and women, retire from Congress and go right into lobbying, which is extremely profitable. If you want to change it, make money. Let me say it this way, yo. I wish this was, if I'm gonna pretend y'all are a room full of black people, so I could say it, because I want to say something that some of y'all shouldn't even be hearing, right? I'm just pretending y'all a room full of black people. I'm talking to my people. The reason why we keep getting shot is because we don't own nothing. It's that simple. We own more. It's easy to hurt us. What are we gonna do? Sue? We can't afford it. We gonna change the law? We can't run. As hard of a pill as that is to swallow. You do not see gay people getting shot in the street. They own too much of California. They own too much of politics. This is what it is. They own too much of Hollywood. They have too much money. The reason why that we got equal rights, same-sex marriage, which I'm not against, nobody get mad at me, it's because they had enough money to finance that agenda. Their civil rights movement happened a lot faster than others. Go ahead, Chris, then Law.
All right. I'm going to hit both things. What I was about to say earlier is from my own experience, I learned to stop feeling guilty for like things you can't control, because one thing I have seen and experienced is, of course, we all want good and much more. But one thing that in the past was slowing me down is allowing people to make me feel guilty. Like, for example, something happened and they need funds. Of course, naturally, I would love to get funds. But if I myself are not stable and I do that, I'm do more harm to myself than good. So that's one thing I want to say earlier about what you were saying, like earlier. But now to the present is now knowing that you need money to make changes, and without that, and I've been thinking for a long, especially in Huntsville, and I'm using my area for example because I see a lot of times, especially my own kind, constant complain about different politics and different policies, but they are unable to actually make effective changes because they can't afford to. They can't afford to, as you say, lobby, or can't afford to do different things to be actual like push back on certain things because they don't have the money. And I actually had my grandma's actually connected to a lot of different people, and she does a lot of relationships, but she lets me hear different insights. And to hear out of another person's own mouth saying that we're not really worried about, and nothing against nobody, but this is what she heard. We're not worried about them because we know dang well they can't afford to do nothing to stop us against us. So we're going to take every property we can.
That's facts, yo. That's facts. Why, if Chris, you come march against me, come march. That's fine. I just know all I got to do is wait 7 days. Why? Because payday. You work for me. You're marching against what's oppressing you. But if I just wait you out for 7 days, you got to get back in line if you want to check, don't you?
Basically.
That's
why, and I know you hear a lot of times too, and we both get a lot of pushback from this, is anytime I try to build or uplift people financially or help them get more wealth, the common rejection, I guarantee you hear it all the time, oh, you're just all about money. No, it's a lot bigger than that, because I know if you don't have the funds, you don't have access to all the resources that you should have available to you to make changes. It's one of the most ignorant things that irritates me, but just like me, how much of a backlash we get when we try to educate others when it comes down to that.
Well, I mean, they're programmed to say that. They're programmed to say money, or you just think about money as if that's a bad thing, right? They're programmed to think rich people are evil and all that stuff, right? And all that stuff. This is why I'm so passionate about all of you, Black, white, Jew, or Gentile, getting your money. Because I know, but through law of attraction, only good people are following me. I am throwing out bait for good people who want to change the quality of their life. And good people do a lot of good things with a lot of good money. Before I get to law, Justin just slaughtered the chat. You're absolutely right, man. It's, you start, it's if you want to make a difference, Simone needs to make a difference. Simone, you would be treated differently when you walk into the room and you can afford to buy that room. It's not my intent to sound materialistic, but I am telling you that me coming back into the rap game, I can afford any record label. Like, I could buy the record labels who would try to sign me. You can't even buy me. How could you buy me? It's different cards here. It's different cards here. And all of you want to be in that position to where you can say, oh, well, I am so, and fool around and have a lot of money and be nice. Like, that's the real powerful thing. When you have a lot of money and people find out you're actually nice and you care, that's the real powerful thing. Go ahead, Law.
What I wanted to add is that
Justin.
And what you said.
He said you got bars also. That's true.
Now, I just wanted to reconfirm what you're saying. You're absolutely true in what you said. I look at here in New York, just recently, the Hasidic Jew community, one of their top rabbis had passed away, and it was over 2,000 some odd people in the street having a parade and celebrating him, and the police didn't say nothing or do anything about it. Whereas over here in my hood, people hanging out and not doing anything, police are on their tail. Well, some are not. Some are just hoping,
No, I saw some. I saw
but
some footage in New York
it's
of
a
people getting beat
total
up.
different thing. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw the what you call the little stick they use. I saw that, and I saw an officer with a mask on beating
Yes.
people in New York. I sure did.
Yeah.
That was like yesterday. I saw yesterday or the day before I saw that. You're sure right. You can't afford nothing, bro. How you going? The Jewish community. I just love what the Jewish community has done with group economics. It is just from a group economic perspective. They should actually, they do teach a master class. They just teach it to themselves, right? It's so beautiful what they have done. You can be Orthodox Jew and never learn an English word and be in the top 1% of income in America. That is amazing. It is.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
And this is really in my head too. You can't get prosperity with a poverty mindset.
No,
I think that's the biggest thing. And then on top of that, I think what is like, and going back to energy and much more, is I think the problem is we want prosperity, but we're allowing where we originally came from, which is nothing wrong with that, because that's what develops and forms you, experience so much more. But I think it's either like the weight or the chain, either coming from your parents, religion, and much other different things that prevents you from actually attaining where you should go. Does that sound about right?
Now, everything you said is right, man. Everything I can tell you for sure, Chris. And this would be a different. I wish this was a law of attraction class, and I can tell you for sure, Chris. You've been here quite a few times, and you are ascending. So that whole you're smarter than your age. You should be. You've messed up a lot. You've messed up a lot. There is a belief that you have. There's a belief that would tell you have reincarnated more than most consciousnesses. And I'm telling you that, so I want you to just embrace the fact that you know a whole lot more than what you should, so you can ascend faster. You feel me?
Got it.
I want you to YouTube a term for me. And hold on, unmute your mic, because I want you to promise me you're gonna do this.
All right.
I want you to look up a term. So I'm gonna give you two terms, okay? They're both phrases, two-word phrases. Ascended master.
Ascended master.
And rainbow body.
Rainbow body.
They coincide. They coincide. You look up those two things. Just I'm not even gonna tell you what to start. I'm not gonna tell you anything but that. You just
That's
find
my
that.
own word. I already know.
Just find that rabbit trail, and when you're ready, you come back to me.
All righty.
Okay. Good stuff. All right. My intention, what I was going to show y'all, we didn't do it. I let the universe take over. Is 120 million. Satish sent this to me today. 120 million people in India are unemployed. 120 million. And I'll share that tomorrow. 120 million people are now unemployed in India, and now 33 million people in America are now unemployed. And don't confuse that number, because the American number is actually worse. No disrespect. No disrespect. We're talking about population size. We're talking about the mathematics. There's 323 million people in America. So if 120 million people are unemployed out of 1.3 billion people, actually that number is about even. Let's see. You take 33, how many times is 33 million going to 323 million? Let's divide that in half. So now you got 150 million because babies can't work, right? Divide that in half, and then you go on. And then since we have the largest prison population in the world, we can take let's take 20% off of that. So let's go from 150 million down to 120 million. So now you got 33 million out of 120 million people working. So now that's about, it's about 25% unemployment. Taking that to India, 1.3 billion people, cut that in half because, again, babies can't work. Now you're working with 700 million people, and 120 million people are out of employment. So actually, that number is worse. So I stand corrected. India number is far higher. So you're looking at a 50% unemployment rate versus a 25% unemployment rate. And that's the world's third largest economy. And that's only been heightened by the lockdown in itself. And India was on pace to have the largest middle class by 2030 in the world. I want you all to fight for prosperity. I don't want to hold you. I want to tell you, please, I'm telling you from a transparent perspective that it wasn't until 2014 until I realized, holy crap, the only thing I have to do is fight for prosperity. So I don't vibrate at oppression. I don't vibrate at that frequency. Oppression exists. Systematic oppression exists. Forget what they want to tell you. But I don't vibrate at the frequency of these things. Everything has a frequency. Everything has a frequency. I don't vibrate at there. I vibrate at prosperity. And I'm doing everything I can to vibrate at $100 billion. I'm not there yet. I don't know what that frequency sound like, feel like, or taste like, Carol, but I'm on my way. You understand? I'm trying. Every day I wake up, I'm trying to figure out how to get to it, and it ain't just meditation. There's some stuff, I can tell you for sure what I've learned on this journey. And this is the last thing I will tell you: is $100 billion is forcing me to be a better servant person. Forget servant leader. Every time I do not serve people first, something happens drastically to remind me you're off track. I'm just $100 billion. I don't think that I can get there without serving a bunch of people to the tune of 100 billion people. And on my journey, the less I serve, the further away I get to my goal. I'm not saying your journey, but my journey is $100 billion. You can't, there's only 3 people who've done it. And all of them have served a ton of people. Until I find another model, which I just strongly think that there will never be another model. So you just can't have that kind of energy without serving that many people. And since there's not 100 billion people on planet Earth, it's a hard vibration to get to. Well, it's not hard for the universe. It's a hard way. I have to forget a lot of things because I know I've already done it. I know on a timeline somewhere, I am already 100 billionaire. How do I know that? Because I can't hold this thought of 100 billion if the physical vibration didn't already exist over there in what Abraham Hicks would call the realm of vibration, whatever she calls it, right? Check out Randy Gage. He speaks on prosperity. Sure will. I can't think it if it didn't already exist. So I'm already there. I have to forget here, live in that dream world, and then the gap would be bridged. That was free information for some of you. Hopefully that helped you. Chris, you got the last words.
Well, from my own college, under the motto Sam Houston basically said in his own statement, the measure of life is a service. So when you were saying that, that's exactly what hit my head.
No doubt. It's easy to get to $1 million because you could just serve 1 million people. But to get to $100 billion, there's not 100 billion people. So you have to serve people, whatever you can get to, so many times that it becomes 100 billion. It becomes 100 billion. Phil just put it in chat. You can't outgive yourself. You can't. In fact, that's a great way for me to end the call. My grandmother, I used to think she was, this is the folly of youth. Okay. This is the folly of youth. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to say something extremely ignorant, but I was adopted at 14. All right. It was extremely ignorant. I just thought she didn't get it because she was old. Made myself laugh. Okay. I just thought because she was old, she didn't get it.
As most youth.
Right? She didn't get it because she was old, right? It didn't make any sense. Don't make any sense. And she used to always say, Tony, can't beat God's giving. She just always say that. Just always say that. Always say that. And it used to get on my nerves because that was that church talk to me. And I wasn't raised in the church. And I thought church people were weird. In fairness, that whole eat my body, give me a holy kiss, drink of my blood, I thought church was witchcraft. Remember, I wasn't raised in the church. So when you just don't have knowledge, this sounds really weird. This sounds really weird, all that stuff. So I'm like, get that out of here. And as I got older, this is after she's dead now or returned back to our ancestors, I realized, and with the help of Neil Donald Walsh and with the help of Phil in chat, if you give first, which is the only way to get anything in the universe, period, if Carol is God and I am God, right? Or at least from, this depends on your religion, however you want to do that, or a manifestation of, however you want to do that, then when I give to her, since I am her, I automatically gave to myself. Right? The reason why I am blessed is because in the releasing of me and giving to her, I kickstarted the universe to give back to me because I gave to me. But if I want more, I must give to her because that's the only time the principle of multiplication is acted or enacted in the universe. You plant, I have corn in my garden. I planted 2 corn seeds 6 inches apart. 2, just in case one didn't germinate. As they grow, and they're growing, I'm not getting back 6 corn seeds. That's not the way it works. I'm getting back 3 ears of, they're actually growing together at the same time, actually. So I may get back 6 ears of corn. For 6 seeds, I'm going to get back 600 seeds. That's called the principle of multiplication. And the only way you activate the principle of multiplication is you say, Carol, I release this seed from my hand because it won't grow in my hand. I give it to you. And it doesn't matter what Carol does. It doesn't matter if she doesn't want her blessings. I've already activated mine by giving. To quote Earl Nightingale, and I'll try to use his voice. No, I can't use his voice. To quote him, you can't say, this is talking about the old stove. You can't look at the stove and say, give me heat, if you have not put wood into it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our meeting for the day. I hope you got you something. Got you, as in Gochu. Okay? I'm just joking. Receive that. Do whatever you're going to do. Let it wash over you. Tomorrow we'll talk about unemployment and how you're going to do it and how you're going to. There's 120 million people, plus there's at least 155 million people sitting in a pond waiting to buy from you. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, how we're going to take advantage of that. Antonio T. Smith Jr., you can plan better. You can dominate. Love you more, Phil. Thank you, Carol. All right, everybody.
Epicor is the essential partner to the world's most essential businesses, offering ERP solutions built for growth and operational success. Explore the industry productivity solutions we curate for the automotive, building supply, distribution, manufacturing, and retail industries by visiting epicor.com/essential. That's EPICOR.com/essential.